The coaster crests the hill, drops, and your stomach seems to leap upward inside your body. For a brief moment, you feel weightless. So what exactly is happening inside you? As the car dives, you and the car accelerate together, so the usual push from the seat fades. Your apparent weight drops towards zero for a heartbeat, which makes everything inside feel strangely loose. Your abdominal organs aren't bolted down. They're cushioned and can glide a little inside a slippery cavity. When gravity's usual squeeze lifts, they lag upward for a blink, gently stretching the tissues that anchor them. Stretch sensors in your gut notice that pull and fire alerts along nerves, including the vagus, to your brain. It's your body's tripwire for unexpected motion, a quick, honest something's off status update. Meanwhile, your inner ear's otolith organs sense linear acceleration, including gravity's direction, and they shout that you're dropping. Your brain now receives two loud messages at once: organs unweighted and the balance system reporting a fall. Coaster designers even engineer this on purpose. Brief near weightless airtime at hill crests and drops. That tiny window is brief on coasters, longer in parabolic flights and drop towers using the same physics. On a coaster, you float briefly. In parabolic flights, it lasts about 20 to 30 seconds. Drop towers can offer roughly 5 seconds of microgravity, powered by the same freefall physics. People say 0G, but microgravity is more accurate because gravity still acts on everything. You feel weightless when you and nearby things fall together, so nothing presses upward on you. Riders also contrast airtime with hangtime. They feel different even with similar unloading. Orientation, duration, and the restraint shaping contact all change how the moment lands. Your nerves notice changes more than steady levels, so a rapid seat force shift feels sharper. Fast transitions amplify the lurch. Gentler ramps spread it out and feel milder. Your brain combines inputs from inner ear, eyes, muscles, joints, and gut into one percept. Together they declare, "We're truly dropping," which your mind registers as the classic stomach drop. Restraints keep you secure while apparent weight fades, so you float lightly into the lap bar. Different ride elements emphasize gentle float or quicker pops. The physics stays the same. Your organs are tethered by mesenteries and glide on a thin peritoneal fluid film. That setup lets them shift slightly when support fades, tugging gentle signals your brain notices. Those gut mechanoreceptors respond to stretch and tension rather than gravity directly. They ride fast nerve routes, including vagal pathways in brain areas that track internal state. Two inner ear otolith sets split duties. The saccule is especially sensitive to vertical acceleration. The utricle favors horizontal cues. With other senses, the brain parses tilt versus straight line motion. At a hill crest, apparent weight can approach zero. Some elements even dip slightly into negative. Designers shape track geometry to feel like gentle float or quick pops, while restraints keep contact predictable. Astronauts in parabolic flights use the same freefall principle. Your coaster sample is just far shorter. Microgravity means everything nearby falls together, whether a capsule, an airplane arc, or a plunging train. That stomach in your throat feeling comes from organs lifting a little while your inner ear reports falling. Together, they read as one dramatic signal. A brief brush with near weightlessness translated as an upward jolt. At a hill crest, the seat's upward push weakens, but in the valley it strengthens, making you feel briefly light, then heavy. That contrast, unload, then reload, sets the length and punch of the drop sensation. Stringing rounded hills can stitch several tiny float samples into one flowing sequence. Spacing, speed, and curvature decide whether those samples feel like smooth drift or space pop moments. Where the bar touches you shapes the message. A lap bar loads thighs and hips. An overhead harness spreads contact across shoulders. Same physics, different touch points, which changes which body cues speak the loudest. Vision casts a vote too. When your eyes agree you're moving, the drop reads clean. Mismatches can feel stranger. Closing off the horizon or entering tunnels can shift that balance, altering how intense the moment feels. Despite the phrase, your stomach doesn't travel to your throat. Organs shift only slightly within safe, supported ranges. The feeling is your brain's honest interpretation of small internal motion plus a strong falling signal. Design dials are simple. Crest shape, speed at the crest, transition sharpness, and sequence length. Different combinations create gentle float, quick pops, or both. A recipe designers use to choreograph the ride. A broad, rounded crest gives you gentler, longer float as the seat support fades smoothly over the top. Because the force change is gradual, the gut tug is softer and lap bar contact feels light, not abrupt. A tighter crest unloads faster, sometimes nudging into slight negative apparent weight for a crisp pop. It's shorter but more intense because the support change arrives in a quick burst. Slow upside-down elements emphasize suspension. Gravity pulls you into the restraint while motion is gentle. It reads differently than airtime. Less organ lift, more steady hanging, set by orientation and how long it lasts. On the first drop, the strongest float sits near the crest where support fades towards zero. As speed builds and the track dives, support returns, then climbs in the pull-out, turning lightness into heft. Designers smooth transitions so your body feels a clean float rather than a jarring snap. Controlling how quickly force ramps up keeps contact predictable while leaving the thrill intact. Put it together. Crest shape, speed, and ramp rate decide where the float lands on a ride's timeline. With that map, you can forecast when organs lift and the inner ear reports a drop on any element. An airplane can fly a steep arc that stretches the float into tens of seconds using the same free fall trick. Your timeline simply widens. The unload lasts longer, but the cues and mechanism are identical. Drop towers deliver a clean, several-second sample of near weightlessness before the bottom catch rebuilds support. It feels purer than a hill because the release is abrupt, then ends in a decisive pull-out. Your mass and gravity force stay the same. What changes is apparent weight, the support your seat provides. When that support dips toward zero, you feel light. When it rises in valleys, you feel heavy. A loose coin or pen would drift with you in the float because everything nearby is falling together. That shared fall is the telltale. Objects stop pressing on each other, so nothing pushes you downward. Your strongest drop lands where guts stretch and inner ear downward acceleration peak together as the crest unloads. Moments later, the dive rebuilds support and the lurch fades as those cues slip out of alignment. When the track arcs upward and the horizon opens, your timeline says a brief unweighting is about to arrive. Then expect the reload in the pull-out, an everywhere pattern you can recognize across very different elements. Back-to-back crests deliver 2 unload pulses before your body fully rebuilds its support. That rhythm makes the float feel continuous as a second peak arrives while cues are still lively. Entry speed decides how deep the unload feels. Faster over the crest drives support closer to zero. Slower speeds soften the moment. The mechanism stays identical. Only the depth of unweighting changes. In darkness or with eyes closed, your brain leans more on inner ear and gut to judge motion. With vision muted, the drop can feel stranger because those signals dominate the story. Enthusiasts say floater for gentle, sustained unload, and ejector for a brief, stronger lift into the restraint. Both come from the same physics, curvature and ramp speed. Set which version you feel. All of this echoes spaceflight. Same free fall mechanism, just a much shorter sample on rides. Knowing that, the lurch reads as playful microgravity, not danger. Your brain simply labels it loudly. Use a quick rule. Spot the crest, feel the light press into the bar, and name the float. That shared recipe links hills, towers, and flights, and sets up one neat dinner table explanation. Tiny hills often feel like nothing because the seat never unloads enough to matter. Without a strong support dip, organ stretch stays small and the internal alarm barely whispers. You notice it in your belly because those organs are mobile and rich in stretch sensors. A brief upward glide there is loud to the brain, even when everything else seems steady. Think of it like an equation. Low seat push plus organ glide plus downward vestibular cue equals drop. Change any term, shallower crest, slower speed, different contact, and the result softens. Rides deliver pocket microgravity, a blink-long float from the same free fall behind flights and towers. Only the time window changes. The underlying free fall is shared, so the feeling family matches. Here's a shareable draft. Your seat stops pushing, organs glide upward a touch, and the inner ear reports a fall. Your brain merges those messages and labels it a stomach drop. Brief, thrilling, and expected at a crest. Spot the hill crest, expect a light lift, and remember it's a tiny taste of free fall. One clean sentence ties it together. Perfect to recall when the sky opens and you float. Brief near weightlessness at the crest unweights you. Organs shift slightly and the inner ear signals a fall. Your brain blends them into the stomach drop. Spot the crest and feel the float. Pocket microgravity for a heartbeat. If this clicked, consider subscribing or share your own stomach drop story.